The British Grand Prix is right around the corner, so let's talk about upgrades. Coming back from a Max Verstappen and Red Bull dominated Austrian Grand Prix, the safe bet would be to expect the same result in the upcoming Grand Prix. But with teams bringing upgrades, Silverstone could be the track where the grid faces a massive shake-up. Mercedes have a huge upgrade package lined up for the British Grand Prix. Ferrari are expecting a bump in performance after its latest resurgence around Red Bull's home track. Aston Martin are expected to bring upgrades to seal its position as the second fastest car on the grid, while Red Bull are also expected to debut major upgrades on a bid to seal its position as the dominant force of the 2023 season. So, let's check it out. Let's start this video with Red Bull's upgrades. The RB19 is the strongest car within the current Formula 1 grid if you consider its strengths of great straight-line speed, power unit efficiency and reliability, slow, medium and high-speed cornering performance. So, there really is no weakness for the team to fix on, rather the team is working on improving what it holds the most dominance on. And yes, that is the underfloor, and this could be potentially the last upgrade Red Bull brings this year to its RB19, as Christian Horner has already confirmed that the engineers back at the Milton Keynes campus are working on its 2024 car. The floor upgrade was talked about from Max Verstappen himself around the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, and we expect them to debut it on this weekend's British Grand Prix. A difference would not be immediately noticed at Silverstone, but with optimization, the Austrian team is hoping to gain about 2 to 3 tenths of lap time. And the team are hoping to solve a major trait within the Red Bull car, which is not exactly a weakness, but a trade-off they had to make. The Red Bull car has issues with bringing up its tires up to a working temperature. This is a trade-off problem, because it's the anti-dive suspension characteristics which is causing this problem. So the team is expecting to improve its floor performance to in return improve its tire warm-up process. We did see Max Verstappen struggling with tire warm-up issues around the Australian Grand Prix, so that would be an important aspect for the team to address. Next, let's move on to Mercedes. The first stage of the Mercedes W14 overhaul, which featured the axing of the unique narrow sidepod concept, arrived for the Monaco Grand Prix and triggered much improved performances for the team in the Spanish and Canadian Grand Prix which followed, where Lewis Hamilton claimed a pair of podium finishes. Then, Austria came as a genuine blow in the teeth for Mercedes, who, instead of battling for another podium finish, only achieved P7 and P8 at the finish line. The Red Bull Ring, a rear-oriented circuit, again highlighted the main weakness of the W14. That is the lack of enough rear downforce. Austria is a more traditional racing track than Montreal and Monaco, but it is still fairly unusual. The rear end of a car is very important, and that is one of Mercedes' main weaknesses this year. Since the conceptual change Mercedes committed at Monaco, the lack of enough rear downforce is one problem which the team has not been able to address, which they will look to do upon the new upgrades. The Silver Arrows are expected to be bringing new engine cover, updated sidepods design and a huge floor update, alongside certain changes to the rear suspension. The floor update is the most important out of all upgrades the team is bringing to Silverstone, as the team's main aim is to improve the rear downforce generation. After the bruising race at Red Bull's home turf, the Silver Arrows are looking to make an immediate bounce back, which the team principal Toto Wolff thinks is possible. The team has been hard at work to analyze and draw learnings from our performance. We have taken the result on the chin and will aim to recapture the momentum we had built up across previous races. With the next upgrades and experiments coming in Silverstone, there are reasons for optimism. Nevertheless, we are not getting ahead of ourselves. We're focused on the job at hand, extracting performance from the car, and we'll see where we stand this weekend. Thankfully for Mercedes, the Silverstone track layout should suit the W14 car much better than Austria and Canada. Hamilton competed for victory there last year, and whilst it is too much to expect the W14 to challenge the Red Bull, their hopes of a podium are far greater than in Austria. That is due to the requirements of the Silverstone track. Silverstone is a circuit that has a variety of high and low speed corners. This does not benefit one particular aspect of a car's performance, whether that is its front end, rear end, high or low speed or top speed. A lap at Silverstone needs a bit of everything, and it requires driver commitment. Russell and Hamilton have that in spades. Car balance will be important, as it always is, but if you have a problem in one area, you can make it up in the others. In essence, it is a track that evaluates a car's overall prowess. It will therefore be the upgraded W14's toughest test since its run at the Spanish Grand Prix last month. Aston Martin is next team on our list. After enjoying great success from Bahrain up to Canada, the Silverstone outfit had an okay weekend at the Red Bull Ring. While the team hoped of having greater performance on medium and high-speed corners with its latest Canada upgrade package, that did not seem to materialize, as the MR23 was seemingly the third fastest car, behind the Red Bull and Ferrari cars in terms of pure pace. Fernando Alonso believes the team was able to achieve the maximum result at the Austrian GP, as he added, "It was more or less the maximum we could achieve today. It was very close with Lando and the Mercedes, and I think maybe more clear communication for the pit stops, but I don't think it changed the outcome of the race. Today was the maximum. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of everything. Maybe the circuit didn't suit our car. With its current car, I expect the Aston Martin to be the 4th fastest around Silverstone. But one thing to note is that the Austrian weekend was a sprint weekend. Therefore, the team would not have been able to optimize their upgrades better for the Austrian Grand Prix." That's what Alonso reckons, as he suggested that the British Grand Prix will be better, as they are aiming at maximizing the potential of its Canada upgrades at the team's home race. Alongside that, the team reportedly are bringing some more upgrades to the MR23 this weekend. The team is aiming to make changes to its floor architecture, as well as are aiming to upgrade the DRS efficiency of the car. Truth being said, the Aston Martin car has a pretty efficient DRS system and a good rear end, but it not yet on par with the Red Bull, which is something the team is trying to close on. The MR23 is still a draggy car, so improving the downforce generation of the floor will allow the team to run less loaded rear wings. That also will help improve the car's performance around the medium and high-speed corners. Let's now move on to Ferrari. The Italian team brought a major upgrade package to Austria, following changes to its rear wing design and side pods design over the previous races. The team made improvements to the underfloor and the front wing at Austria, which seeming did pay off. The SF23 was the 2nd fastest car on the grid around the Red Bull Ring, and the team will look to carry that pace on to Silverstone. The Ferrari car has been able to fire up its tires better and now has also been able to maintain better degradation around a Grand Prix distance. We have to be focused, everybody has to be focused on ourselves. We are doing a good job together with the team, the drivers. We are going in the right direction. I want to keep this going. We should keep one thing in mind, and that is the track characteristics translating into improved Ferrari performance as well. Both Canada and Austria are rear-oriented tracks, which has favored the Ferrari car traditionally. The Silverstone track is polar opposite to that, and the British Grand Prix weekend could be a huge challenge for the Italian race team. This fact was accepted by Ferrari's team boss himself, as he added, "For Silverstone, I don't know, it's so tight. I don't want to speak about Max, but in our group with Mercedes and Aston, you never know before the weekend who will be in a good position. But we do expect the team to be bringing an upgrade for its rear suspension, accompanied with much more optimization of its previous upgrades. The team already has made changes to its rear suspension geometry, and are looking to build up on that changes, as it has been a positive trajectory for the team since the inception of those changes. Ferrari will be looking more on to solve its inconsistency issues as well, also will work on to cement its position within the top 3 teams this season, and then slowly work its way to close the gap to Red Bull. Next up is McLaren. At last week's Austrian Grand Prix, the team unveiled its first round of upgrades for this season, which included a fully redesigned floor, side pod and engine cover. McLaren said it brought a fully revised floor which features updated fences, floor edge as well as diffuser shape. The floor inevitably interacts with the rest of the bodywork, which means McLaren has also redesigned the side pod and engine cover to improve flow conditioning to the floor and increase aerodynamic load. The team also updated its car's mirrors and halo fairing to further optimize the airflow to the rear of the car. The updated engine cover shape comes with a geometry tweak for its cooling louvers. McLaren's primary target was improving its aerodynamic efficiency, and thus its ability to add downforce to the car without incurring an excessive drag penalty. With Norris's results at the Red Bull Ring, it seems though the team has been able to achieve its targets, but we cannot be sure if the team has made massive strides due to the Austrian weekend being on the sprint format. But there was a clear difference between Oscar and Lando's cars, which shows that improvements have been definitely made. I think now, after having done many sessions, we could say that the upgrades seem to have made a bit of a difference, which is positive. I think we have to be prudent. I would say had it been a sunny day, with a hot track, I think it would have been more difficult for us, so we have to be prudent. But clearly, even looking at the comparison between the two cars, we have definitely more competitiveness with the new upgrades, and the team are working on to build up on that momentum by bringing more upgrades to this weekend's British Grand Prix. The upgrades the team bought to Austria was only 50% of the total package, according to team boss Andrea Stella. He also mentioned that more mechanical components and new front and rear wings will be brought to the Hungarian and the British Grand Prix. So, the front and rear wings are the most expected upgrades for the British Grand Prix from McLaren. Alfa Romeo are also expected to be bringing upgrades to Silverstone. Valtteri revealed his hopes for this upgrade package, as he added, We obviously still have the same car here, but then we have another upgrade for Silverstone. The Swiss team are expected to be bringing upgrades to the floor to improve the car's performance around medium and high-speed corners. Alpine also are expected to be bringing upgrades to Silverstone. With the Austrian weekend not faring well for the French team, the team hopes upgrades at Silverstone and Spa will improve the team's performance. The team is expected to introduce a new front wing at Silverstone this weekend, and a revised floor is scheduled for 2 races later at Spa, which are hoped to close the gap to the front runners. I think many teams made steps in the last 2 races, and we definitely need to make one as well. So I look forward to seeing what we can do, said Ocken. Now you know what upgrades teams are bringing to Silverstone. What are your expectations for the race weekend? Who do you think will be making the biggest gains with their potential upgrade packages? Will any team be able to dethrone Red Bull from the top step of the podium at Silverstone? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads, to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.